All right, guys, we are awake. Later on this afternoon, remember, we got big earnings at GameStop and C3. So we got GameStop and C3 earnings. AMC at 1360, so it actually did okay yesterday. Here's GameStop right there. We also have AI stocks. So C3 AI, it's at 31s or 32s right now. Yeah, we'll see what happens on that front. I hope we get a bull run, dude. I don't know, man. I hope we do, but I'm skeptical, like I always am. All right, so we are awake, dude. Why are they putting out Christmas songs, bro? It's September. GameStop, Charge Point, AI, C3 AI. What's up, Brian? What's up, It's Bad? What's up, Joshua? What's up, Quantum? We're up here. We're awake. All right, team. We're up. What's up, Pawn? Where do you guys think I should put overlays? The top, the bottom? Let me look at my stream. I don't want to put them too much at the top because then they're going to block the symbols, which people probably want to see. Yeah, that one. This one might work. Let me see. Let me download this and try it out. All right, there's a social bottom mid. They also get the top right one. That one might work too. See, you can't see that one. All right, let's try a different one. Top right might work. Yeah, that works, right? Yeah, that should work. The only problem, I don't want it to block stuff. Let me see. Would you guys rather this on the left or right side? Oh, well. Yeah, you're right. What's up, Roke? Just don't block that beard. Yeah. What do you think about the Dow today? I don't know what the Dow is going to do. Everything's kind of down small amounts this morning, team. So everything's down like a little bit. Yeah, I feel you. I don't know how you managed to wake up this early for stuff, dude. I'm getting up pretty early no matter what, dude. Like I am up at 6 a.m. no matter what. I'm up at 6 a.m. market time, which is really 5 a.m. Texas time. Like realistically, I'm usually up at like 4:45 Texas time. But I was telling my doctor yesterday was asking me what I do, and I was kind of telling her what I do, and because I told her, she was like, "Well, when's the best time for appointments?" And I was like, "Well, usually I finish work at like 10 o'clock." And she was like, "In the morning?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "What do you do?" And I told her, I was like, "Well, I cover stock market stuff." I've stopped anytime anybody asks me what I do. I've stopped being specific because nothing good comes from telling them about my YouTube channel. Is what I realized. Like nothing good comes from that. All right, so Ben Armstrong is back on X with a new account saying no more BitBoy. Well, so basically he got booted out of his BitBoy company BitBoy. And it looks like it was from some type of disagreement, you know. I think the mistake he made was giving somebody else full um like a ownership stake in his company where they have a majority to be able to push him out of his own company. I think that was definitely a mistake, but again, I don't know the inside. I know business can be tricky, and so you know I'm not sure if that's even what's going on, but it looks like he's back on Twitter under the username Ben Armstrong's X, saying quote no more BitBoy. And so we'll see if that lasts. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think about that. But yeah, interesting. But no, so let me know what you guys think about. Yeah, I'm never really specific about what I do to anybody else. Nothing good comes from it. What I mean by that is like there's two reactions that come from telling people I have a YouTube channel, right? Is one of them is like, oh, this dude's got a YouTube channel. What a joke. They immediately look at me like I'm a 12-year-old, you know. The other part of that is like I'll say, hey, I got a YouTube channel. And then they'll look at it and realize like it's not huge, but like it's not a small channel, you know. And then they immediately like come at me with their hand out, come at me with like they want to be my best bud, my best friend. If they've got something that they want to promote, you know. I had people trying to get me to promote their NFTs. They wanted me to like let them be co-hosts and like all this different stuff. And it's just nothing good ever comes from it, man. Nothing good ever comes from it. I'm gonna go try to find some different music here. All right, guys. So market's down again today. Again, we're covering C3 AI and GameStop this morning. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. All right, team. Give me 1 second. Hmm. All right, guys. I think you have an unlimited amount, but I'm not 100% sure. Charles, I'd reach out to them to be sure. All right, guys. What do you say to either of those people? What that want to? Right. It's such a polarized reaction where they immediately look at me like I'm a 12-year-old, making Fortnite videos, or they want something, you know. 5 days. No, man, there's no maximum time frame that you have to pass the challenge. Like there's no maximum. It's definitely not 5 days. Like you can pass it. It used to be you had to trade a minimum of 4 days, but they recently changed that as well. Now it's only 2 days. But there's no maximum time frame. From my understanding, again, reach out to them. I'm pretty sure there's no maximum time frame though. Um, yeah, for sure, Pawn. I feel you, man. Yeah, so C3 is here on the right. Again, we also have GameStop earnings today. GameStop has kind of been on a little slump, though. I mean, if we look at a 20-day chart, it's been on a slump for the last couple weeks here. It started off at about $21. It's now it went as low as $16, most likely during the AMC downfall. Like with AMC's demise, uh, GameStop, another meme company, is gonna move in sympathy with it to a certain extent, and that's basically what's going on here with GameStop. That's why GameStop is down so much, is because AMC has been down. At least people aren't constantly asking what's YouTube anymore. I'm sure some do, but yeah, trash is already out. But appreciate the heads up. Um, Q bullish, not bearish. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. The Q, it's been down slightly for the last couple days, but prior to that, it made a pretty nice little run here. If we look at the Q, as an example here. Here's the Q, which is just the NASDAQ. This is just the NASDAQ 100 is what this is. If you want to know what the Q is the NASDAQ 100. It's priced differently, but it's the price action is the same. If I put up that and I put up like the NQ, it looks exactly the same. It's the NASDAQ 100. You can zoom in here and see the price action is the same. Basically, there's slight variations of it, but it's basically the same price action. This is just the futures contract, and this is just the ETF of the NASDAQ 100. But again, it's the same thing. You zoom out here, you'll get a similar view of it. Again, it's priced differently, but it's just the NASDAQ 100. But anyways, the Q, again, we had that big slump in the Q, or the NASDAQ. It dipped from when the Q hit 390 roughly. It dipped all the way down to like 350s and then bounced all the way back up to 380s. And then we had this little bitty pullback. The Q is the Q actually had a slight green day yesterday. So the Q actually did well yesterday. Yeah, I'm wrong there. I thought we had a slump in the Q yesterday, but it looks like the Q is actually technically green. Today the market is red. Let me look at the SPY. Did the SPY have a green day yesterday too? Okay, SPY's day was basically pure flat. I kind of don't get it how to pass it in 2 days though. Okay, so to pass it in 2 days, solar. The reason they say you can pass it in 2 days is because I'm going to use the 50K one as an example. All right, so you're not allowed to make over 50% of your profit on any given day. And so to pass it in 2 days, essentially, you would have to make exactly 50% of your profit target each day, right? So on the 50K combine, you'd have to make $1,500 even, roughly. I think they give you a little bit of leeway with it, but to pass the 50K one, you got to make at least 1,500. You got to make 1,500 bucks each day. If you go over it, you're going to break that rule and you're going to have to make more profit. If you get under it, it's going to take longer than 2 days. I wouldn't try to do 2 days. I mean, I know you can, but I would go with like 3 days. 3 days is the sweet spot, I think, where you can swing big. If you got good results each 3 days, then you'll get funded most likely. And again, you got to make half your profit target, $1,500 each day. If you do that, you'll hit the 3K profit target, and boom, you're funded in 2 days. But it's difficult to do that. Again, I wouldn't try. I would try to just get it in 3. But again, that's just me. Everybody's different. Y'all do what y'all want. But well, yeah, it's going to tell you your best day is over 50% until you actually hit the profit target. So it's saying you're over 50% today, solar, because you haven't actually hit the profit target yet. And so you making 3,100 one day, $3,100 is like your full profit. Like that's all your profit, right? So it's going to say that's like over 50% because that's all your profit, if that makes sense, right? But it should even out. Like right now, if I look at my profit on some of these, it's going to say I'm over 50% too, but it should even out if you do it right. Yeah, give me a follow at those socials on the top. Bro, Elon Musk with the innuendos, dude. This man posts so many innuendos, like I can't even say really that. All right, so Binance, man, struggling. So Binance is. I'm reading this thing by this guy called Travis Kling. Uh, he's talking about the demise of Binance, and he said it's titled "Binance's Slow Train Wreck Towards Implosion." In December, they experienced greater than 10 billion of net withdrawals and temporary suspended spot BNB borrow, temporary halted withdrawals of the ERC USDC coin is said to be on the verge of being charged by the Department of Justice. Binance Proof of Reserves auditor Mazar pauses all crypto work, removes Binance at his station. They Binance US temporarily halted withdrawals of USDT and USDC. And again, this was in December, so this isn't recent news. Okay. In January, Binance admitted their stablecoin pegged BUSD had greater than 1 billion collateral hole and claims it's now fixed. In February, New York Department of DFS investigating Paxos over Binance US dollar stablecoin. There's just so much stuff here. And what do y'all think about Binance moving forward? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so the queue down a little bit today. But again, today the morning might be a little slower. But today we've got GameStop, we've got C3 earnings this evening. And then tomorrow we got jobless claims. And then next week we got CPI data, which is big. So I think the most impressive thing about the Tesla Plaid is that it can go over 300 kilometers an hour. It can go like almost 200 miles per hour. And it looks pretty smooth and not super shaky when it does it. That's pretty impressive, I think, you know. Like I used to race my Prelude, my Honda Prelude at the time, which to me was fast, right? It ran like a 14, 15 second quarter mile, so it wasn't that fast. But like I used to race it in Baton Rouge. Bro, I would get that thing up to like 120, 130, and it would shake ridiculously bad. Like this thing would just like shake constantly. Like it was very uncomfortable taking it over 100 miles per hour. Um, and I remember the max I ever got it to was like 120 or 130. I can't remember what it was. But this thing is going almost 200 miles an hour, the Plaid. It looks like it's on the Autobahn, I'm pretty sure. I think this is on the Autobahn, and it's going almost 200 miles per hour, and it is pretty smooth when it does it, which is impressive, honestly. All right, so New York City has begun enforcing a 2022 law that restricts short-term rentals like Airbnb. The new rules include a ban on entire unit rentals, a requirement to stay in unit with guests, and a reservation cap of 2 people. Fines of up to $5,000 per stay. Honestly, bro, they're just getting lobbied by hotel companies, bro. Like the reality of this is, right, is like what's going on here is politics. Uh Ultimately, like you can see how this might happen where the people who are losing the most money since the Airbnb surge are hotels, right? Like hotels are losing boatloads of money. The reason they're losing it is because instead of staying at like a really luxurious hotel, you can stay at a really luxurious mansion instead. It costs about the same. And young people specifically are definitely choosing to do that much more than they did before. I don't even know if it's luxurious hotels, but people are definitely choosing to stay at Airbnbs over hotels. There's just less restrictions. There's more privacy, more space, right? And the people who are the most upset about that are the hotel chains, right? Hilton, Marriott, which are all the same, I think. Those are the ones that are really struggling, that are really unhappy about it, and they're going to be lobbying, you know, politicians in different states trying to get them to put these laws out to basically bring some of their business back. Unfortunately, I don't think it should have anything to do with politics. I think that this is just capitalism, open market. Let people do what they want to do, and the hotels can deal with it. They're still going to be making a lot of money. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the way you have to do funded programs for like specifically with Top Step, I know the way I had to do it. And again, regardless of what anybody says, like you got some dudes out there just acting like they're the greatest, right? But they're resetting a bunch of times too. Like, right? Like the people who have been funded the most times, they've been resetting their accounts too. Like if you don't think they're resetting over and over and over again to get funded and to make those withdrawals, like of course they are. Right. Like, and that's because that's kind of what you got to do. If you want to get funded, you're going to have to like risk, you're going to have to squeeze, you're going to have to like put some size up and take some swings and understand that you'll probably have to reset it. Prop firms are one of those things where scared money really doesn't get funded, so like you can do it really slowly, but it just takes one mistake is what I learned, right? Like I would make money, make money, make money, make money, make a mistake and lose it all. When I started to get funded, it was actually when I started to do the opposite, where I just said, hey, I'll reset this thing 10 times if I have to. And with it, when I did that, I got funded pretty quickly because I stopped worrying so much about getting eliminated, and I just started using numbers. Like I used averages to like say, okay, well, if I take these risks here and I have this many accounts, like eventually I'm going to get funded on one. That's how almost everybody is getting funded. And then once you're funded, that's when your job is to lower your size, scale down, trade smart. But everybody's a little bit different. But I genuinely think that's what you got to do uh, to get funded. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, you guys know me. Like I don't really need to get funded. Like my TOS account and other accounts have like 50K plus in them. And so yeah, I I love Top Step, and I think Top Step is incredibly useful. Incredibly useful. It's useful the most for people who don't have that much equity to spend, right? Like if you don't have that much equity, sure, it's great and it's useful and it's what you should be doing over putting up the money yourself for sure. Um, but I think that's an obvious and self-evident thing. I think it's useful for small accounts because you could save money. I know I lost thousands in the beginning. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, I'm really not trying to do a plug. I just see people in chat talking about it. So like, I guess I'll do a plug, but I usually don't plug anything this early, but hey. Yes. After you get funded, I'm back down to small size. Right, for sure, man. That's what I'm saying. Let the hotels fall. I'm not sure why they're bailing them out and putting all this stuff out there. Have you ever watched what happens when hitting a wall at 120? Yeah, I grew up in the Fast and Furious days, right? So I grew up in the Fast and Furious age where like I was like 15 when the first Fast and Furious movie came out. That'll tell you how old I am, but I was like 15 or so. I can't remember how old I was. I might have been a little bit younger actually. I might have been like 13, but still I was a teenager when the first Fast and Furious movie came out, and I freaking loved it. That got me in love with like tuner and JDM cars, and so when I was a teenager, that's kind of what I did was souped up my cars and raced them. But as I got older, you lose interest in stuff. I still am interested in it, but I think when you get older, one thing that happens is you start getting interested in like business and like start trying to grow businesses, and you just get interested in other things. But yeah, no, I'm not that old. Yeah, year. So again, I think originally I overestimated it, but I'm not that old. Disney, yeah, it definitely wasn't 16 when it first came out then, or 15. Cal, I was younger than that for sure. I remember I definitely couldn't drive when the first one came out. Uh, Nvidia about to go green on the day, trying to go green on the day. Yeah, it's all good. Um, yeah, I mean Disney's at around 81 bucks. Again, for me personally, I just kind of sit in Disney. Like I might add a little bit to it to fix my price, but like it's kind of like a dollar cost averaging position. Like I don't like Disney's going to be fine short term or long term. I think short term, who freaking knows what's going to happen with Disney, you know? But I'm just kind of sitting in it. One day it'll probably come back, and when it does, that's great. If not, I'll be all right. I've got so many different. Like I said, I've got about 40K in invested right now in the market, and I'm green in some of them and red in some of them. But I've been kind of building a longer term portfolio lately. It's worked out great. Yeah, it's rough, Hayden. Sorry to hear that, dude. But yeah, that's how it goes, bro. Again, it's one of those things like people hate on funded account programs, but like they really are a way to limit your risk when you first get started, man. I lost thousands, but it was a much smaller amount. Like when I first got started trading, I didn't have 30K, or I might have risked that when I first got started trading, but I had like 4,000. When I first got started, I had like $4,000, and I put it all up in an overseas brokerage called Sure Trader at the time, really sketchy brokerage. Gave you 6-to-1 leverage, and I'm pretty sure they were taking the other side of my trades and just hoping I failed. But yeah, it's called Sure Trader. It was an overseas brokerage for stocks, and they gave you 6-to-1 leverage, and I just destroyed that account within a couple weeks. And I was distraught. I was super bummed. I was super unhappy. I almost wanted to cry. Carol was upset. I was with Carol at the time. Carol was super upset. It was just not fun, man. It was not fun. But it did get me started in trading, and it taught me risk management. And so I actually started this YouTube channel, got beat up in the market, and then stopped posting for like a year straight. So I started this channel in 2016, but I didn't actually post for a year or so. And the only thing that made me come back was like I started this channel, I uploaded some videos, and then I stopped. But I would kind of check it. I would get the notifications like, hey, you gained a subscriber. Hey, you gained a subscriber. So by the time I came back, I had like 400 or 500 subscribers. And that's what brought me back. I was like, hey, I've got all these subscribers now, which to me at the time, like 400 subscribers was a lot of money. But when I came back, immediately went to TOS. I immediately went to Thinkorswim. I stopped trading penny stocks as much and I started trading kind of large cap stocks in a much more risk averse way where I didn't trade big size, which is the mistake I was making in the beginning, which I just traded too large. Like new traders shouldn't be trading large size, no matter how good they want to look, no matter how cool they want to look, no matter what kind of gains they want to flash on social media. Like they're just going to end up losing more, you know? And so it's really important for specifically new traders to just scale down your size, man. You don't need to look cool and trade large. Like you're just going to give more to the market if you do that. And again, $4,000 to me at the time was a lot. I'm not saying it's not a lot now, but like back then it was a lot, like at this point in time, I could probably lose 4K and be relatively unscathed by it. Like most likely I'd be fine. I wouldn't worry too much if I lost 4K today. Would I be happy about it? Of course not. But like, it's not going to be the end of the world. Back then it was different. And like, that's all the money I had. But yeah, point is trade small. Don't be dumb. Yeah, so Rampage Poker getting some heat about specifically running a poker scam. Again, Rampage did not cheat. They're saying Rampage cheated at poker because he had multiple different accounts on ACR. The problem is that what he said about this shows that he wasn't really cheating. He said he created the other username in the early stages, and after 900 straight downswing tournaments, he thought his account was doom switched, which means that like they're programming that account to lose. So he created another username to test it out and somehow found infinitely more success with the other account, right? But of course, he came out critical of this poker site. And so all the poker site goons are coming out against him, calling him a cheater, doing whatever they can to hurt his credibility because he's a pretty big name talking, about a poker site. And those poker sites have some goons, man. They do not want negative press, especially ACR, which has had some pretty rough stuff historically. So let me know what you guys think about that. But yeah, I think it's obvious, like completely understandable. It should be. Oh, sorry guys. I just realized the music's not on, man. My bad, team. All right, sorry. Let me unmute this music so you can actually hear it. There you go. All right, team. Check Discord. Gotcha. All right, so interesting. Okay, got you. Yeah, appreciate it, Pawn. Thanks, man. You can see the Q bouncing back up. The Q's almost flat on the day again. So the Q's bouncing up a little bit. You can see the SPY up to 448. So SPY over the VWAP as well. No, not Rampage Jackson, Melanie. This is a different Rampage. He's a poker player. All right, guys. So again, Q bouncing back up. Anything else good? We got GameStop and C3 AI earnings. The big thing to watch today as well is NVIDIA. NVIDIA stock is up to 486s. It had a little slump, but it's starting to make another run back up towards $500, which is right around the lifetime highs. But lifetime high, I think, is like 520 on NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is sitting around 485 right now. So it's within a range of the previous lifetime high. We have C3 AI earnings, which is a pretty big AI stock. It's not the largest, but it's one of the most noteworthy AI companies that we've seen come out of this AI boom we've had for the last year. They're reporting their earnings this afternoon, and we're going to cover them, of course, like we always do, as well as GameStop earnings. And that might have a direct influence on NVIDIA and other AI-related stocks like Microsoft and so forth and so on. So that's a big thing to watch. A big thing to pay attention to is these, with these stocks, to see what happens here, to see if, C3 AI influences NVIDIA. And also GameStop drops their earnings today. If we look at GameStop here on the right side, GameStop drops their earnings today. If we look at what they're expecting here for GameStop earnings, they are expecting, where'd it go? Sorry. GameStop. And this morning we also have Express. I forgot about Express. Express with a big miss, but we did have Express earnings. But then this afternoon we have GameStop expecting expecting a 15-cent loss per share on 1.14 billion in sales. C3 AI expecting a 17-cent loss per share on 71.59 billion in sales. So that's what we got going on right now. Again, we got GameStop and C3 AI dropping their earnings, and this will be a big, interesting thing to pay attention to. Again, GameStop might influence AMC, which has had a lot of volatility, of course, lately after the reverse split and all that stuff. It's still back up there to 1360, so the AMC is still looking okay. And then again, we got GameStop, which has been on a little slump the last 20 days. And then we have AI, which is C3 AI. AI is up a lot this morning in pre. It's up to 32.11s. We'll see what happens there, guys. We'll see what happens. Did I do a poll yet? I guess I didn't, right? Let's see. Does the market close green today? Yes or no? Vote on that poll. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, well, there's definitely some weirdness. I've used a lot of them, Quantum. Like, I've used ACR. I've used, like, a bunch of different ones. There's some of them can be sketchy. Bovada. Like, they're all kind of sketchy, to be honest. I would never use them. Like, they're kind of sketchy. The reason they're sketchy is because you just get some very strange The biggest worry I have with them is super users, right? So inside programmers that can see your cards, right? And I think like I've been called by some weird freaking hands. Like I've been called by like 2-5 offsuit pre-flop with aces and had 2-5 offsuit win, which is just incredibly suspect. And there was no justification for that. So there's just been some weird stuff. But again, maybe people are just going crazy. I don't know. Yeah, Rampage Jackson seems fun, man. He seems like a funny dude. All right, so NVIDIA up over the previous closing price. You can see NVIDIA technically green on the day right now. Technically green. There it is. It's at 486s right now, 486s. We got ISM Services PMI data and import-export prices at 8:30 today. Y'all do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the notification bell as well. We appreciate it. Put these numbers up on screen so you can kind of get an understanding of what's going on. My opinion of saying the market is manipulated shows that you focus a lot on fundamentals and TA, and that if yeah, for sure. I think the market doesn't have to do anything, and a lot of people saying the market is wrong just shows most of the time that they are like if the market's pushing up and somebody says that the market is wrong, then they're usually just bears, right? They're bearish traders. They're people who bet on the downside and then we're wrong, usually is what it is, right? And it takes a lot of maturity to be able to take a step back and say, hey, I was wrong about this. Again, you get a lot of people getting weird with me because I've been very vocal, regardless of whether people give me credit or not. I've been very vocal that the market doesn't have to pull back or crash. And, a year ago, everybody was telling you, all the big influencers were putting out these sensationalized videos about how the market was going to crash and all this stuff, right? And they were basically telling everybody that they knew, whatever. Everybody wants to predict the next big market crash, right? And little old me was sitting here saying, hey, the market doesn't have to crash. Like, people saying the market has to do anything are wrong. Nobody knows what the market's going to do. It's very difficult to predict a market crash in general. And again, in hindsight, I was absolutely right. Like I told people, hopefully, people can kind of see that a lot of these influencers just overestimate crashes. They just overpredict crashes because they're trying to get clicks, right? And what gets better clicks on a video than this is going to crash the market, And then a lot of the time they dislike me for it because, they were mad, they were wrong, and I bring attention to the fact that they were wrong. But it's all love. But yeah, again, understand the market doesn't have to do anything. Nobody knows what the market's going to do. And if you're betting on the downside of the market, you're betting against the biggest long-term edge the market ever gives you. Now, short-term, the market could do anything. But again, if you're betting on the downside, long-term, it's a sucker's bet. It's something that usually only, I'm not going to say gullible traders, but traders that get wrapped up in politics, as well as like, I don't know, just confirmation bias. Like people want the market to crash for a bunch of different reasons. And because of that, they overestimate the likelihood of it happening. But the market will do whatever it wants to do. It doesn't have to do anything. NVIDIA bouncing at 485s. Yeah, rest in peace to Rumble Johnson, man. He was fun to watch for sure. McDonald's. Where's McDonald's at? I haven't, and McDonald's has been one of those stocks I haven't invested in. It was just up a little bit too much on the year. Right, exactly, quantum. I think that's the thing people need to understand. It's like the market will crash. The market's going to inevitably crash eventually, right? the natural state of the market is up, 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 crash, up, 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 crash. So like up, 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 crash, up, up, crash, up, crash, right? Like that's the natural state of the market. And so sure, the market's going to crash eventually. But like if you call the crash right here, you're still going to lose money if you're short when the market crashes. If you get in right here, you're still going to lose money when the market crashes, right? And that's what a lot of people don't understand is that, look, I know people want to be cool. I know politics and, Michael Burry and, banks will all put out this narrative like the market's going to crash, right? But they're usually the ones that are riding the market up in times like this. Hey, what's up, Smokies? All right, well, the Burning Man Festival. Mitch McConnell, once again. Let me unmute this. All right, sorry, we're back. I have 4 monitors. Yeah, again, I think the way you have to look at the market, like the correct way, and again, maybe this is biased, of course, I'm pretty sure it is. Like I'm of course biased to the upside, and anybody that's bearish will certainly tell you that I'm biased to the upside, which is certainly true. Like, right, like I want the market to go up, so I'm definitely biased to a certain degree to the upside. But like, okay, the way you have to look at the market in terms of edge, right? The way you have to look at the market. Oh, I don't have my wedding ring on, man. I took it off for jujitsu. They made me take it off for BJJ, but I gotta put it back on before Carol gets mad at me. No, I'd rather you not log in and like it from different accounts, Sam. I mean, do whatever you want, but I'd rather you not. But no, so what was I saying? Okay, yeah, so the way you have to look at the market is that the longer term you want to trade, right? The longer term you want to hold something, the more bullish that bias should be, right? So like the longer term the trade is, the more it swings to the upside. Like the more you should be trying to profit from the upside versus the downside, right? Because if you don't do that, you're betting against the biggest long-term edge that the market gives you, which is the market's generally going to go up over long periods of time, right? Over a 5-year period, the market's almost certainly going to go up. So if you're betting against something for years, if you're betting against the market going up for years, it's kind of a sucker's bet. And it's something that a lot of new traders and a lot of bearish traders don't understand. The more you zoom in, right? The more you zoom in terms of like time frame, right? The shorter the time frame is, that's when you can start to be more bearish. That's when you can start to look to short more things and bet against certain things on the upside. But again, it still should be something where, for me personally, like if I'm day trading, I actually like shorting, more than going long and day trading. Swing trading, I still prefer the long side because, again, I can hold my swing trades long term if I need to and ultimately have a free trade if it goes against me, as long as I'm picking the right stocks to swing trade. I can't do it with every stock, but if it's a blue chip healthy company like Apple or Amazon or Walmart, even if I'm wrong short term with my swing trading, if I'm okay with it, I can just hold it longer and it'll usually go up because, again, the long term direction of the market is generally up. So that's a powerful edge that I think a lot of people miss out on because they're always trying to short and get involved with shorts. Now, if you go to different markets, right, if you go to like penny stock markets or if you go to like some mid cap markets as well, that's when it's definitely a little bit more understandable to bet against some of these stocks because most penny stocks are going to fail. A lot of mid caps are going to fail also. So, you have to look at it in that regard. Like, there's some mid-cap opportunities on the downside, mostly in companies that are going to be obsolete, right? My way to do it is I look for companies that I think the business model is no longer understandable in the future of technology. And so, like Dish, Dish is one I've been talking about for years. Peloton, I think, got really big during the pandemic and then gave a lot of it back and looked weak. Cannabis stocks to a certain extent because I think legalization is far out. Just there's a couple ideas you could use short term to short different stocks. But if you find yourself betting against Apple or Amazon or Walmart down, if you find yourself betting against those stocks over years, you're almost certainly wrong. And it's a bad bet to get involved with. But again, maybe I'm wrong there too. I could certainly be wrong. Maybe we do get like a losing couple years in those stocks. I don't know. But it's something to understand. Like, that's the way I do it, at least. That's the way I look at this stuff in terms of like whether I want to go long or short on different things, Okay, so the Bank of Canada interest rate decision. Yeah, isn't that around 8? Let me see. Or did that already happen? So we did have the 30-year mortgage rates. Mortgage rates dropped a little bit. They came down to 7.2%. Where do you see the Bank of Canada interest rate decision? Okay, so that's actually at 10 a.m. They're holding it flat. They're pausing or skipping. They're going to keep it at 5%, which is what it's been at. Yeah, for sure. I think that's the way you have to do it. All right, so again, will we hit a September slump this year, guys? I'm not sure. Yeah, so the September slump's like a real thing. And we do have some other stuff too. All right, team. Roku. I don't trust Roku. The reason I don't trust Roku is because I think the technology is replaceable to a certain extent, despite this big gain in Roku. Let me see what the actual long-term chart is. The long-term chart's just so rough too, man. We put a yearly chart up. It's not doing bad, especially after these gains. So it's right around the highs of the year. So this might be one that I was just wrong about. It's certainly possible I was wrong about this. I just don't trust it long-term. So like I just don't trust this one long-term. That's the big problem. Is like I just don't trust it long-term. Roku is like a consolidated streaming software. So like it takes all your logins for all your different apps on your television and devices really, and it consolidates them to one source to where you can seamlessly move through the different apps, right? My argument against it though is that the software is pretty replaceable. Like these TV companies can do it themselves and cut out Roku in the future. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that's a risk. But I might be wrong. I'm not sure. Nice pawn. Yeah, but Roku was up big. What else? We also had Express earnings. I don't think they really did much either. NVIDIA trying to test those bottom levels here. Here's the Q. I might buy a little bit of the Q down here. All right, so we bought 25 shares of the Q. There we go. We got 50 shares of the Q just now. So we'll see what this does. But we bought the little dip in the Q. We'll see if we get a little pop. Ideally, we're looking for a bounce. We'll see if we add some more. We also got to watch NVIDIA. Again, NVIDIA down at the VWAP, right around the previous closing price. These two levels are right around the same spot. And so what that means is like we got a potential for a bounce. If we don't bounce and it actually like fully cleanly breaks underneath it, it might be risky to go long. Lucid CEO says they're targeting a $50,000 EV by 2030. I don't know. In 2030, man, I think prices are going to fluctuate so much it might be risky in that regard too, Like, I don't think they're going to hit that 50K mark, because I think 50K in 6 or 7 years is going to be noticeably cheaper than what it is today, if that makes sense. People are lazy, don't want to sign up for 50 different streaming services. Right, for sure. I understand the use case of Roku. My question is not about the use case. It's more so about like replaceability. So like, okay, I understand it's inherently useful. Like, Roku is super useful. I'm not saying it has no utility. What I'm saying is that these software companies can just build their own version of Roku in-house on their televisions without needing Roku partnership or licensing or whatever it is. And again, maybe there's a business aspect of that I don't understand fully, and that's certainly possible for sure here. So just transparency, like, it's certainly possible there. If you had $1,000, what will you put it in for max growth with a month's time to hold? I'm going to preface this with, I have no idea what you should do. I might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money on whatever I say. This is purely entertainment purposes only, and this is just what I would specifically do if I had $1,000 and wanted to make gains from it. Now, with all that said and out the way, I think you got two options, right? You can, number one, I would only stick with blue chip companies, right? I would only stick with blue chip companies. I would wait for those blue chip companies, whatever they were, to have very large pullbacks short term. And you got to be patient. It's a waiting game. You got to be patient. But it needs to be a healthy blue chip company that has pulled back a lot short term. Now, it can either be around lows or something like that. That can sometimes be powerful, or it can be moving up and you're trying to ride the upward trend, but just have a pretty distinct pullback short term. And I would just look for a good support heavy level that after a fairly large pullback, maybe for a week or two of pullbacks in a blue chip company that otherwise seems healthy, and I would just buy whatever it is there and I would sit on it. And then if it doesn't turn out in my favor, then I can just kind of keep holding it. If it's Walmart or Amazon or whatever, even if I'm wrong, I could usually just sit on it long enough and it's going to come back eventually. But again, that's what I would personally do. Everybody's a little bit different. In chat, what do you guys think? I'm open to hearing what you all think as well. Right, for sure, but I guess it depends on if these companies are having to pay Roku. If they are, then eventually, like, the Samsung's going to be able to do the same thing. Like, maybe the smaller companies no, but like Sony is going to be able to do that. Samsung is going to be able to do that and have the resources at their disposal to do it. So I mean, that's bad for Roku, because that just means an inherent replaceability factor where you gotta, they could be going great and then boom, they get replaced. As long as Roku stays price competitive, they kind of have a first comers benefit, but it's hard to say without looking at what contracts they have. Yeah, for sure. Hey, what's up, RC? Yeah, I'm not really messing with penny stocks. I mean, it has a good long-term chart, like not long-term. It's got a good medium-term chart. Uh, but I just don't really mess with them. But I mean, it's up 25% since the last like 2 or 3 weeks. It's up 25%. But again, I just don't mess with penny stocks, brother. No, don't know who that is. Hi, John. Can you do investment in Momo like NASDAQ or SPY? What do you explain yourself a little bit more, Ray? I'm not sure what you're asking me. What's up, Tony? Yeah, we're in a little bit of this 50 shares of the queue. I'm just kind of buying it. We'll watch what the nvda does and Tesla as well. Tesla today, if we look at it, still holding pretty well at 250s. Tesla actually had a good day yesterday, a nice green day yesterday. It's right around previous closing price, but Tesla had a great day yesterday as well, still pushing up pretty big at 250s. Aside from most tech. Well, Walmart's green. Home Depot's green. Lowe's is green. So it's not just tech. It's just blue chips in general. Now some sectors are down, but others are not. Like FedEx is green. You know what I mean? UPS is flat, but I mean, you got a lot of stuff that's green on the year too. I mean, like buying individual stocks and leaving them for longer. Yeah, I mean, investing is really the biggest edge you'll ever get in the market, but you gotta stay away from penny stocks. The real risk are penny stocks in terms of investments. Like if you're holding something long enough in blue chips, it's going to go up most likely, right? And if you diversify, like say you buy like the S&P 500, which is the 500 largest companies in the world, or the NASDAQ 100, which is the 100 largest companies in the world, that's some good diversification, and those are going to go up long term for sure, right? So the biggest mistake people make in investing is buying crappy penny stocks, where, if you want to know why they're crappy, it's because the large majority of them fail, And so as long as you're not buying like crappy penny stocks, if you buy and hold blue chips or the S&P or the NASDAQ, which would just save you time. You can diversify into blue chips, or you can just buy the S&P and NASDAQ. Those are going to go up almost certainly long term. And so that's what you just buy and sit. The biggest problem most people face there is that they're unable to buy and sit. Like they end up wanting to mess with it. They end up wanting to tweak it and trade it, and get in this and get out this. And that kills their edge, because long term, if you just sit in things, you're going to have better results in blue chips, most likely. Unless you're like day trading and you actually have good day trading skills. If you're good at day trading, that's a different story completely, and you can, make some money. But a lot of people aren't. I don't know. September is historically a pretty red month. So September is usually a pretty red month. On average, I think stocks go down about 1.5% in September, but nobody knows what any individual month is going to do. Market's also kind of contrarian, and so when everybody thinks the market's going to do one thing, a lot of the time it does the other. So who knows? Hey, thanks, Max. Tesla's actually technically red on the year, believe it or not. So, not very red. It's mostly flat, but Again, do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button. Bump that like button up before 8 a.m. Hit that like button. Bump that number up to 100 likes. We need like 28 likes. Yeah, I mean, James, I see you here. You said the same thing yesterday. In what way is he right, sir? Again, I asked you this yesterday. I never really got a response. What's up, Chris? But like, I'm open for discussion. It's not like I'm attacking you. I'm just genuinely curious. In what way has Michael Burry been right? Number one, he talked about the trade. June 30th was when the date of record is for the trade, right? So if we look at the actual S&P 500 and we zoom out here on the year, here's a yearly chart. I mean, the market's pretty green, you know, like it's kind of like, again, the market's up, pulls back up, you know. And so just because we had a dip for a couple weeks does not mean he was correct about his huge short position. And if he got in on June 30th on the day of record, he's probably down a lot because June 30th was way back here. So we are way higher than that now. So that's where he shorted it. You know, it's not looking pretty for him. But again, we don't know where he got in or out. Hey, thank you for the like. Yeah, appreciate the support. Thank you. Retail buying dips, burning shorts. Yeah, I mean, I try to tell people this, right? Like people acting like we just have to crash are usually just really short biased or like really involved in politics. But like if we look at the market here, the market already had a really big slump. You know, like the SPY went from 480s all the way down to 350, right? So let's check out the percentage. Let's see the percentage drop here to see how much this dipped, right? So we dropped from 480 down to 350, right? So so that would be $130, right? So let me make sure my math is right. I'm pretty sure it's right, but $130 is when we look at how much the SPY actually dipped percentage wise, that in 2020 the SPY dipped 27%, if my math is right here. 27% is what this dip was. So again, this dip right here was a stock market crash. Or I don't know if it was a crash or dip, but that dip right there was 27%. It's a pretty large dip. All right, that's a pretty big dip. It's a pretty big dip. Now, the question is whether you consider that a crash or not. It was certainly a correction, but the market coming down 27% within a couple months, you know, a lot of people are going to argue we already had our major crash or correction, and now we're kind of back up from it. We're kind of reeling back up from it here. You know, so like that's where we're at now. So people acting like we just have to crash is just, again, maybe, but we're kind of on the way out from a little mini correction or crash from 2020. It's not like usually when crashes happen, it's when the market is really extended on the upside and then boom, you get a correction, right? Like the 2000 internet boom and bust was very, like, you know, we pushed up a lot leading into 2000. If we look at this, let me see. Yeah, so here's the 2000 internet boom, and again, or internet correction, or whatever you want to call it, right? And again, you can kind of see the same thing. Like this happened when we were ripping up big. We were ripping up big. Like, so we were at the apex when we fell, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, we crashed. Market dropped from 140 down to 80. So what, like big percentages. And then it happened again right here, which, you know, is kind of similar to what we see right now, but this was in 08. So this was longer away from that, from the mortgage bust. And so I guess my point is, like, right now we're not really like breaking highs and moving up like we were in 2000. You know, if anything, we're kind of looking like a cup and handle, where technically we look more like this, you know, like a cup and handle rebound pattern from 2020. But maybe I'm wrong and nobody knows for sure. But I guess acting like the technicals show we must crash, in my personal opinion, is not accurate. I don't think the technicals show that at all. Maybe we do, but like, you know, the market doesn't have to do anything. Market can do anything, will do anything. It's not something that it's not something like the market has to do this or has to do that. And that comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of markets. Yeah, a lot of people say in those short positions, Chris, were actually hedged positions from long trades, is what they're saying. You know, so a lot of people saying those short positions were just hedging trades from his long trades. Again, I don't know for sure, but like that's what a lot of people are saying. So Q dipping under the VWAP. Again, we've got our entry position. We're basically flat right here. If we start to really bust under this, I'm just going to cut it. I don't want to get stuck in that. I can also look at NVIDIA, which is influencing things as well. NVIDIA back under the previous closing price under the VWAP here. So yeah, we'll see. Also, guys, hit that like button. Do we have enough likes? We need 7 more likes. Banks just dived. Did they really? Yeah, I mean, the banks are down after the JP Morgan fiasco. Yeah, hit that like button, guys. We need 6 likes to break 100. No, I mean, you must be looking dramatic at the 8 a.m. scrum, where you're seeing really big candles up and down. You're probably seeing some big candles up and down. Again, it's just the 8 a.m. scrum. It's just orders getting filled from overnight. Usually they're not true price action, and they'll correct after a minute or two. So yeah, it's probably just the 8 a.m. scrum candles that you're probably seeing. Yep. Again, dramatic. So every day at 8 a.m., right, a lot of orders open up from overnight. So overnight orders get filled, and that makes kind of some weird candlestick action at 8 a.m. every day on certain platforms. But again, if you look at TOS here on my end, it's just not true price action. So usually, like, you'll just see some corrections back and forth. Sounds like you're looking at the 8 a.m. scrum. All right, we're probably going to have to cut this pretty soon. A little Q trade. Again, small losing day so far, day trading here. But you know, when you got a big portfolio, you start to get used to like swings in different directions, right? So I'll probably cut this if we break underneath this right here. So we're pretty close. So still watching Tesla here. Is JP Morgan cheap enough to buy the dip, or what do you guys think? Yeah, maybe, Chris. I've never actually tried that. Maybe I'll try it one day. What's up, Joe? Yeah, I mean, GRR looks like a terrible, choppy, pity stock that has a terrible long-term and short-term chart. So, I mean, that's just my own opinion. Not trying to hate on your stock, but I just don't like it at all. It's barcoding short-term, lack of liquidity. The yearly chart looks horrible. The weekly chart looks even worse. And so just not a good company, most likely a failing company that's on its way out. Again, if you look at it, it was at $51 in 2022, and it's fallen from $51 all the way to $1.50 in the last couple of years. So just not looking good. I have a friend who saw the movie The Big Short. First thing he did was get 1,500 shares of the SQ. Yeah, I mean, that movie will do it to you. It'll make you distrust the system. But again, you got to understand, like, if you think you're going to be Michael Burry, you're wrong. You know, timing is incredibly important. And yeah. NVIDIA actually back up to the previous closing price, so it's still testing that red to green, green to red level. DoorDash or the other ones coming out on Friday, are they IPOs? Yeah, let me know if they're IPOs or not. I can't tell. All right, so my Q trade's pretty much flat again. Again, we're in 50 shares of the Q. It's a lot of equity position, but it's not like I'm risking the amount that I'm spending on the trade. So we're just kind of hanging out here. All right, so Q back over VWAP here. That's a positive, optimistic sign. I could add more. We're watching NVIDIA here. Market's actually pretty low liquidity. We do have C3 AI earnings today, and that might influence NVIDIA, which will then influence the rest of the market. And so that's one you probably want to watch. So again, C3 AI drops their earnings today, as well as GameStop earnings are this afternoon as well. And again, we'll cover and stream all of them, but should be fun to watch. Antonio Brown saying he has CTE. Phew, man, really? Hey, dude. How you doing today, man?
Good.
Love you, buddy. You doing all right today? Good, man. All right, bud. Love you, man. Have a good day at school, dude. All right, Q's still pretty flat, consolidating back and forth over the VWAP here. The SPY actually technically, or NVIDIA actually, I mean, is technically over the previous closing price. So NVIDIA technically green on the day right now. We're still sitting in the Q. Watching NVIDIA bounce back, though, this might be good for markets. We could also watch like Tesla and Apple. Tesla technically red on the day now. Apple, good day yesterday, bad pre-market. We pop today? Hey, we'll see. I don't know, Chris, dude. I'm still kind of bummed about LSU losing, man. Again, I think we put too much faith in the quarterback and Kelly. I know Jaden Daniels is good and all, but his problem is like he throws okay and he runs well. His problem is that he chokes under pressure. That's his real problem, is that he chokes under pressure. That he does not perform well when the pressure is on. And I think Florida State has a good team. Just to put it out there, like I think their team's good. You know, I hope they're good, because if they're not good, it's even more embarrassing for LSU. But I hope they're good. You know, but I also think Jaden, he doesn't do that great under pressure. All right, so the Q rip it back up a little bit. We're actually technically green on the day now on this trade. So, hey, I'll take it. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not really hating on Brian Kelly. I think our team is okay, but I don't think like the talent is super high up there. So like I think we got talent, but I don't think we're a championship team. And I think people are acting like we are, and they're putting the blame on Kelly whenever I think it's, he can only do so much, right? So, I mean, it is what it is, but oh man, that hurts, Code. That hurts, man. Love you. Have a good day at school. Honestly, it's funny because I got some of my family that went to Bama. Like my dad's side is actually from Birmingham, and so my dad, my grandfather graduated from Bama, and so yeah. So like, and then my uncle went to Auburn, and then my side all went to LSU, and so it's kind of Thanksgiving's an interesting day for sure. Holidays are always fun. So I'm not really against like Alabama. I think yeah. I mean, I don't dislike them that much, but we'll see how Bama does this year. All right, guys, watching Apple. Apple is actually down a lot in pre-market here. Look at NVIDIA start to fall back down. Again, we do have C3 AI today. So we do have C3 AI. And we do have GameStop today. Yeah, I don't know whether I should stream C3 AI earnings or GameStop earnings today. What do you guys think? All right, guys, the Q at 377s. So again, we're still pretty flat here. We haven't done much. We are over the volume weighted average price. I don't like the fact that NVIDIA dipped down though here. That's not good. Instacart, Clav, and ARM are all Friday. ARM could really influence semiconductors. Interesting. So ARM, SoftBank Group's ARM. It's big news for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, last time we streamed C3 and we got pretty good results. I still think GameStop's a little bit higher, but it's arguable. Yeah, I'm not sure what Colin said. Again, we're still kind of flat here on the Q. I've been in this all morning. It's not really doing much. We're waiting, but we'll see what it gives us. NVIDIA still back up a little bit here. Again, Q have been flat all morning. The market just hasn't really done much this morning. We'll probably get ready to trade some futures too. Again, we do have import-export prices at 8:30 in 15 minutes. So we do have import-export prices dropping in 15 minutes. We'll see what that shows us. Oh, what else we got here, team? Getting back up to the VWAP level. Watch NVIDIA. Tesla still down a lot in pre-market, but had a great day yesterday. Apple, kind of the same thing. Down in pre-market, but good day today, or a bad day today. Or yeah, down in pre-market, but a great day yesterday is what I should be saying here. Put these up. Q. Back futures. All right, so we got a little pop on the Q again. Anything else that looks good here? Put the Dow up here. I'm trying to pull 3 different things. Dow. There it is. There's Tesla. Tesla at 256. Still over VWAP though. Again, here's Apple. Apple had a great day yesterday, but a big pullback in pre-market. Somebody said the news was here. Let me see. Mortgage rates, 30-year mortgage rates actually came down a little bit. ECB's Casimir says one more likely last interest rate hike is still needed. He prefers a 25 basis point rate hike next week. We do have the Bank of Canada interest rate decision coming out as well. General Mills reaffirmed their fiscal 24 guidance. What a weird candle here for the Q. I don't think we got any data. I still think we got 12 minutes before import-export prices. But yeah, 30-year mortgage rate came in at 7.21%. Apple, government overseas banned from using iPhones. Yeah, that's not a big deal. That's a very small percentage of people. Thoughts on in the money calls on AMC and Roblox today? Well, I think they're risky for a few different reasons. Main one, specifically AMC, is risky because the main one, AMC, is risky because GameStop reports their earnings today. If GameStop earnings come in bad and GameStop falls big, AMC is almost certainly going to follow with it. And I'm not always in agreement with taking big positions ahead of earnings. I think it's very risky because regardless of whether we predict the earnings report accurately or not, it's still something in which the market could do the complete opposite and earnings are just volatile. And so even if you get it right with earnings, the company could still go the other way. Like I've seen companies report better than expected EPS, guidance, sales, and still dip. I've seen them report worse than expected guidance, sales, EPS, and still bounce. And so it's one of those things where we get high volatility and a low predictability. So it's just not the best move. And AMC basically follows GameStop to a certain extent, and GameStop follows AMC. There's a lot of sympathy there with both of those. And so taking a big call position and ahead of earnings seems risky to me. But that's my own personal risk tolerance. Again, I'm not sure what you should do there. Interesting. Apple signed a long-term deal. All right, we got import-export prices at 8:30 today, guys. Import-export prices at 8:30. We also have Services PMI data coming out soon too. This morning. All right, guys. Yeah, we'll cover the ARM IPO. IPOs usually don't happen in the morning, but we'll cover it for sure. Why does AMC follow GameStop when they are two completely different businesses? Because they're meme traders. They're the ape community, right? The ape community is both GameStop and AMC. And so they're basically meme traders, meme holders, I'll say. And I'm holding AMC. I hope it goes up. But like, they're all the same group of traders, right? They're all basically in the same group. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Oh, shoot. Where'd it go? It's cold in here. Dude, it's probably in that, so I wouldn't sling it unless it like fell in the pocket. Weird, dude. What? Dude, where'd it go? Here. Yeah, dude, that's so weird. It's got to be in there, baby. Unless it got like stuck on this.
Oh, your necklace?
Yeah.
Here.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you put it on?
Yeah, I got it. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think. Again, we're still in the queue, still flat here.
Here, it's on the ground right there. Struggling this one.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. GameStop. Will GameStop beat or miss earnings? We'll see 3AI beat or miss earnings, guys. Let me know what you guys think. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the problem with some of that stuff is like a lot of traders are just wrong about businesses. All right, thank you, Debbie. Love you. The problem with a lot of that is like a lot of traders are just wrong about stocks, right? Like they're wrong about certain stocks. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. No trader cries manipulation more than somebody that's very wrong about about a small cap stock, right? Like most small cap companies fail. You get new retail traders that invest in them. They dedicate most of their portfolio to a really speculative, like obscure, risky penny stocks. And then when those penny stocks ultimately fail, they cry manipulation. Like they didn't know what they were doing, or like somehow their penny stock is not bad. It's just getting manipulated, which is just silly, right? Like most of the time, they're just really obscure penny stocks that don't make that much money. They're just not good companies most of the time. I'm not saying that about GameStop. Again, I like GameStop. I hope GameStop goes up, but like It really is something in which people have to really understand what's going on. For AMC, I'm showing some big volatility here. Whoa. Whoa. Look at AMC, guys. Wow, dude. AMC is falling big here. Look at AMC. Wow. What's going on here? Anybody know? All right, so Highcroft Mining says study has confirmed significant gold and silver studies. What a weird price action for AMC today, team. Wow. Let me look at Twitter or something. Let me figure out what's going on here. AMC down to $12. So Highcroft Mining said Wednesday a study has confirmed average recoveries of 89% for gold and 93% for silver at its Highcroft mine in Nevada. Recovery rates are used to process metallurgy to indicate the proportion of valuable materials obtained. Findings are up from 80% for both gold and silver, said Highcroft, which is partly owned by AMC. But why would this news be bad for AMC, I guess is the question. Again, interesting for sure. Weird. Oh, and dude. So AMC is diluting their company again, dude. So AMC ATM agreement at market offering for up to 40 million shares of Class A stock. This is another offering, more dilution for AMC is what I'm gathering here. I might be wrong, so I'm not 100% sure, but what I'm reading is more dilution. If you don't know what offerings are, it's dilution. Okay, so companies have multiple different types of offering. The first one is the IPO. It's the initial public offering, right? That's the one everybody knows. And again, that's dilution. That's companies selling shares to profit, right? Now, a company that doesn't make enough money from their regular business endeavors can also do what's called a secondary offering as long as they filed for it, which I guess AMC did. That secondary offering basically allows them to add more shares to the float, thus selling those shares and profiting from the shares that they add. But, you know, it's not a good sign. You know, when a company doesn't make enough from its normal business to where it has to dilute the float, where AMC's already got 500,000 shares in the float or more, maybe whatever AMC's float is now. AMC's already got a fairly large float for a stock that they want to make a big squeeze. And so the company already doing the reverse split last week and then immediately diluting themselves here. You know, again, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. All right, guys, we got import-export prices in about 1 minute. Yep, not a good sign, man. Not a good sign. Dilution's never good. So the quantity of shares goes up. Well, yeah, so it's dilution. It's adding more shares to the float. It's selling more shares, adding more shares to the float. If a company does that too much, then you know, it's gonna to put this into perspective, right? The greater the amount of shares in the float, the less volatility that company ultimately has, right? So the more shares in the float, the less volatile the company is, right? So traders like the ape community pushing for a big squeeze, this is going to hurt that. This is going to make it harder to move this stock. Here we go, guys. So import-export price is dropping right now. Import-export price is dropping right now. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Trade balance data as well. Dropping right now. All right, so here's import-export prices. They are out. Let's see what they showed. All right, so trade balance data for the U.S. came in at minus 65 billion versus minus 68 billion expected. So minus 65 billion versus minus 68 billion expected. I don't think import or export data is out yet. All right, so again, import data came in at 316.7 billion. Exports came in at 251.6 billion. So 316.7 billion imports, 251.66 billion exports. And to put this into perspective, generally what people think is going to be a thriving economy is when we're exporting more and importing less. Obviously, exports are better because it means we're producing things in terms of like manufacturing and production versus importing other companies or other countries' things. And so market's dipping down a little bit on this report, but nothing really. I mean, import export's not the biggest release. The bigger release is going to be Services PMI at 9:45 in about an hour and 15 minutes for Services PMI. All right, so AMC right at 12s. Again, we'll see if it holds. If there's any stock that can make a run after bad news, it's AMC. All right, guys, AMC back to 12s. Also, guys, we're going to be day trading on Top Step today. If you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step, funded account program for futures, genuinely useful. It ultimately allows traders to day trade with less risk. And again, what they're going to do is they're going to give you a demo or a paper account, right? And they're going to give you a profit target, a max loss, and see if you can pass that test. If you can pass that test, once you do, they fund you between 50K up to over 100K with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first 10K in profit. And so what that allows you to do is learn how to trade with less pressure. Learn how to trade under pressure with less risk, right? So the base one's $49. They give you a 50K demo account or paper account, and you got to hit 3K in profit without losing over 2K. So a 2 to 3 ratio. Very reasonable ratio, I think. And just taking the challenge builds your skill. I think people have to have the right perspective in mind with this, right? Like most traders lose money. So most day traders lose money. It doesn't matter whether they're on Top Step or not. Most day traders are going to lose these challenges because most day traders lose, regardless of what platform. And that's kind of the point, is that it's a lot cheaper to try this out, learn how to trade under pressure, gain some knowledge in the markets. They have free funding coaches and a ton of great resources, and it's $49 a month. If you lose, you're only out $49. But if you pass it and you're good enough to get funded, again, you get a 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K in profit and withdrawals. And so there's just a lot of use in that to basically help traders lose less in the beginning, right? I still think most traders are going to lose money, but it's just going to be less. And I think that makes a lot of sense. But again, I am biased in their favor. They pay me money. And so I'm incredibly biased in their favor. You want to confirm all this stuff with them. But yeah, genuinely useful for traders, in my opinion. If you want to check them out, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Yeah, well, 90% split means once you're funded, if you pass their challenge and you get funded, you get a 90% split of your profit. No, the data moves the markets. It just depends on what it is, right? We're in one of the most apprehensive parts of the market here. I'm going to go ahead and cut my long trade. It's just not worth it. I lost less than $20. Just kind of sitting too long. The market is starting to dip down a little bit. All right, we're back. Sorry, Carol's calling me. Hey, John, question. I passed my 50K combine yesterday. When they give me my Express account, can I still make as many trades as I want? Well, there's no minimum or maximum amount of trades you have to take once you're funded. Now, you can't, like, you still have a max loss. You still got stuff like that. And so, yeah, I mean, you still got a max loss. You still have rules you have to follow once you're funded. You can't just risk the whole thing. But again, just research the rules. They've got a lot of rule sets that they give you. All eyes on NVIDIA the next couple of days. Yeah, we got C3 AI earnings today. That's going to be a big release too. That influences AI for sure. So that'll be fun to watch. All right, team. We do have GameStop earnings today. Yeah, so AMC, guys, still sitting at 1180s. The Q broke down some. We do have GameStop earnings this evening. I find it hard to believe C3 would not be losing market share with all the other players now. Zoom now giving AI to current subscribers on premium. Yeah, but there's a difference between a company offering it and then dedicating your whole business to it. How come that influences AI? Sorry. So C3 is a big AI company. It's going to influence NVIDIA. Wow, is this a real bump in the queue? Is this a real candle? Are you guys seeing this candle in the queue, or is it just me? Nope, not a real candle. Gotcha. Yeah. Got excited for a second, but no real candle. It's all good. All right, so AMC back up to 1160s, bouncing right at 1150. Right at 1150. Back up to 1170s almost, right around 1170s now. We'll see if this data holds, or this level holds, I mean. 1150s is a psychological level that might work. Do you think Polestar will hit to all-time lows this week? I don't really know. Maybe. Yeah, I'm watching both the NASDAQ. On a 5-minute chart and the E-mini. Sorry if I'm a little quiet. We're working on some stuff. Again, GameStop back up. Or is GameStop following suit? Let's test that thesis that GameStop follows AMC down. Yeah, so look at GameStop dip down basically on the same news. We got the NASDAQ. We're also looking at the Dow as well. But again, a lot of eyes are on AMC to see if this actually holds here. The Q and the SPY are both pretty flat. GameStop is down big percentage after more dilution in the company here. They diluted their company again, which is not a good sign. Again, dilution is never good. It means the company's desperate where they need to sell shares in order to stay afloat. And that's never a good sign. Despite what the other people are going to try to put a different picture out there. A lot of times like that, they'll just act like everything is good, right? Like, oh, the offering is great, the company's gonna have more money, and that's true, but like it's just something that you got to be weary of for sure. Like understand what it is and that the market is not gonna like this news at all usually. Yeah, just be smart, guys. Be smart. All right, look at AMC back up to 12s. So we are back over 12s. That looks good. Let's see if it actually holds. We're watching other stuff too. AMC testing $12 and that volume weighted average price level now. So we're right around the VWAP, right around the volume weighted average price. How many times will they halt the market today? I'm not sure. With the coming out in 24, will the market follow what's going on with that? It'll follow it to a certain extent, probably, but we don't know. Nobody knows. All right, so AMC back up to 12. We're waiting for some price action to get involved with. Again, let me know what you guys think. Would you guys rather me cover C3 AI or GameStop earnings today? What do y'all think? C3 AI or GameStop? I could really cover either one. NASDAQ back up right around the volume weighted average price here. AMC still rejecting at the volume weighted average price. AMC still trying to make that test. It's at 11.99s now. C3, 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 GameStop, C3. Yeah, I'm not sure which one will cover. I'll probably cover both, but let me check. Look at AMC rejecting at the VWAP at $12, all the way down to 11.80s. NASDAQ is still consolidating, but under the volume weighted average price. Let's see. So C3 earnings. The earnings call is going to be at 5 p.m. The actual earnings report is at 4:15 for C3 and at 4:05 for GameStop. And then GameStop earnings. It says after market close today. So are they not doing an earnings call for GameStop? Let me look this up. AMC back up to 12s. Yeah, honestly, I'm not showing GameStop earnings at all. Let's see. Which is weird. They got Q1 that was released in June, but all right, NASDAQ back up. Very choppy morning, stock-wise, like price action-wise. GameStop has earnings today, but what I mean is, like, does GameStop actually do their earnings call today is the question. I don't see anything. Yeah, I don't see anything. They announced they won't have a call. Okay, well then that makes the choice really, really easy. Yeah, that makes the choice really, really easy then. Yeah, that makes it really easy. All right, well, we're going to be covering C3 then today. AMC all the way still back up to almost 12s here. Again, dilution is not good. So they're obviously not reacting great to this, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, the GameStop hasn't done an earnings call in the last couple reports, right? The last one, I remember I was in Florida when it happened. They didn't do an earnings call then either. What's up, Alyssa? Again, Q up to 377s again. So we're starting to get a little comeback in the Q and like other broad market ETFs. Here's the SPY. We're at 448 on the SPY now. So back over the VWAP, getting a little bit of comeback strength here, but really choppy pre-market. I mean, if you look at the actual price action here, you know, yeah, GameStop is after close, but the earnings call, there's no earnings call, right? And so that's the difference. It's like GameStop is after the closing bell today, but there's actually no earnings call. So again, to put it into perspective, the procedure for earnings is that a company reports their quarterly earnings, and then after they report their quarterly earnings, they then do an earnings call. Usually it's about an hour afterwards. GameStop, the last couple earnings reports have not done a call, which I don't think is a good sign. Not doing an earnings call means that, like, they don't have anything good to say, because generally what happens during earnings calls is they say good things. So they're saying a GTA 6 is going to cost $150 each. I can't tell if this is a real post or not. It's got to be a fake post. Alex Cohen says, quote, just bought a new Tesla Model X Plaid for $130K. Even though Tesla dropped the prices to $80K, I still opted to pay January 2022 pricing. Spending more money on a depreciating asset makes me grind much harder. I'm just built different. It's got to be a troll post, right? It's got to be a troll post, huh? It's got to be. Japan has the world's least spicy food. I can't handle spices. I'm a spice wimp. I go to Freebirds. I'm like, hey, give me the least spicy chicken. That's me. You know, I am who I am. Okay. All right, so people are asking on Facts, is the FedNow service replacing cash? Is it a central bank digital currency? FedNow responded, and this is all quoting FedNow, the Federal Reserve. It says, quote, no, the FedNow service is not related to a digital currency. The FedNow service is a payment service that the Federal Reserve is making available for banks and credit unions to transfer funds from their customers or for their customers. It is like other Federal Reserve payment services such as FedWire and FedACH. The FedNow service is neither a form of currency nor a step towards eliminating any form of payment, including cash. The Federal Reserve has made no decision on issuing a CBDC and would only proceed with the issuance of a CBDC with an authorizing law. Testifying before the House Financial Services Committee in March, Chair Powell said a CBDC is, quote, something we would certainly need congressional approval for, end quote. So again, let me know what you guys think there. I guess that makes sense, you know. But again, I'm sure we got a bunch of people that disagree with that. Let me know what you guys think. How much is oil per barrel now? Guys, let me know. What do you guys think? How much is oil per barrel? I look at the Russell, but it's one of my least watched ones, Pray. I usually look at the big three I watch are the NASDAQ, the S&P, and again, I'm going to say this with like other varying forms of them, right? So like I'll look at the E-mini, the S&P 500, the SPY, they're all the same thing, right? So that's just one. That's the S&P 500, right? Now, whether it's the futures contract of it or the ETF of it, I'm watching the S&P 500. With the NASDAQ, it's the same thing. Like I can watch the NQ, I can watch the QQQ, whatever I want to look at, the TQQQ, whatever it is, it's all the NASDAQ. And then I watch the Dow, right? So YM, you know, whether you watch that or whether I watch the actual Dow, it's all the same thing. So those are the big three I watch, which is the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. 86 or so, yeah. Yeah, I'm holding some Exxon, and it's doing really well over the last few days. All right, guys, where's AMC going? AMC back down under 1170s, down to 1160s right now. We'll see if it keeps breaking. Yeah, CL is the futures contract of oil, Sam. And again, if you haven't checked out Top Step, day trade with me on Top Step. It's a great way to learn. Like if you're struggling, if you want to day trade and you really want to day trade, but maybe you don't have the money to do it, maybe you don't have the skills to do it, Top Step is really where you want to go, right? Like, again, you can either put up 30K yourself if you want to day trade stocks, or you could trade the futures market, which has no PDT rule, right? You can day trade short, buy market, buy bid, sell the ask, just like stocks. But again, there's no PDT restrictions. You can day trade short, no restrictions. Top Step, in my opinion, is the most legit funded program in the world. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year. They fund thousands of traders a year. They're kind of the gold standard. And again, they're just genuinely useful because whether you win or lose at these challenges, they build your skill. There's free funding coaches. Like they genuinely build your skill. And it's the best of both worlds. If you're good enough to pass it, you still get, you know, a minimum of 50K in funding up to 150K with a 90% split. You also get to keep your first 10K in withdrawal. So like you get to keep your first 10K in profit after you're funded. And so there's a lot of reasons to use it. I think the rules on Top Step are the best in the game as well. And again, in futures, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, currencies, gold, silver. And the patterns in that are very similar to like stocks, but you just don't need 30K to do it. And so that's very useful. Again, they give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can pass it, they fund you afterwards. Just really useful in terms of building your skill, learning how to trade under pressure and all that good stuff. But again, I am biased, of course, because they pay me money. But yeah, genuinely useful. I'm using a company called Quant Tower as my platform, although you can use a bunch of different ones like TradingView. There's a bunch of platforms you can use, but I'm using specifically Quant Tower, which originally I was contractually obligated to use them. And originally I liked Tradeovate more. Quant Tower's grown on me though. I really like Quant Tower. Like Quant Tower, now I'm not obligated to use any specific platform, and I still choose Quant Tower because Quant Tower is just nice. Like once you learn how to use it, it's just nice. Like I like it. No, I'm probably sitting on Exxon, Dwayne. They pay out divvies too, so I'm waiting to get my dividend payments for at least another couple weeks before I take profit. They pay almost $1 a share divvy too that pays out on the 11th. So I'm at least holding it till then. I'll probably hold it longer, though a lot of these are longer term investments. I don't know. Tesla ran a lot yesterday for sure. What's the deal with Top Step payouts? You have to make 200 every day for 5 days. Well, the thing you get wrong is every day. You have to have 5 winning days before you withdraw, right? And that's most likely to stop people from making like meaningless withdrawals that just clog up their withdrawal system, like taking out $90 or something dumb like that, right? It doesn't have to be in a row. It doesn't have to be consecutive. You just have to have 5 winning days of $200 or more, right? So you need to have 5 winning days before you could withdraw, which is, again, very reasonable, I think. Again, they're probably just trying to make sure you don't clog up the system taking a $100 withdrawal or something dumb. And again, in a month's period of time, you should have 5 winning days, out of 20. Hopefully you get 5 winning days. If you're not winning anyway. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But again, check with them. All right, NASDAQ still pretty choppy, guys. We got 25 minutes here, 25 minutes before the market opens. Still waiting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. You got to get 5 winning days It doesn't have to be consecutive. Like 5 winning days a row is not what they're asking you to do. It's you just have to have 5 winning days. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be consecutive. It's just 5 winning days out of 20 in a month. So, or roughly 20 in a month. So that should be a pretty reasonable request. Again, a lot of people lose, most traders lose money, right? So a lot of people lose on Top Step and then they blame Top Step. Like some traders are just not mature, right? So and they're not introspective enough to blame themselves for losing, So a lot of them try to blame me or they try to blame Top Step or whomever. But in the end, most traders lose, Top Step is a lot cheaper platform to lose on if you're just getting started, to be honest. And if you're good enough to pass it, you get a lot of benefits for that as well. But I think it's just going to save traders money because it's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step than to put up, if you want to trade stocks, at least you got to put up 25K minimum to do it. It's just a mess, Yeah, I'm just a sponsored trader. So it's always best to reach out to them for sure. All right, guys. So again, AMC still consolidating. It's been basically flat since it did this ATM offering. It's basically been sideways since then. So not a good look for them, man, for sure. Not a good look. Again, we'll see if it holds. We also have ISM services data today. ISM services data. I mean, AI is incredibly useful. Again, you got to think of AI in terms of production influence, right? The production influence is what makes AI powerful, right? It's the ability to produce much more faster, So the production of things, the production of programming, right? I can program much more stuff now when AI writes it. I can produce much more work. I can do photography editing very quickly with AI. I can write very quickly, produce nonfiction, writing very quickly using AI. I can research a lot quickly. I can summarize a lot quickly using AI. So traders should be using it. It's something that traders should be taking advantage of. I use it very often in markets. Look at NVIDIA jump, right? So look at NVIDIA bounce. I don't know if this is a legit bounce or not. It's over 484s right now. Got a little pop. Although the NASDAQ is dipping down and it's been really flat. There's no real edge right now in markets, I would say. So just be smart, be careful, team. Yeah, hit that like button if you haven't already, guys. We appreciate it. Still pretty flat in markets here. We got the Q up on the top. Here's AMC. Still down a lot. I mean, AI is an advantage for trading if you and I use both tools to get the same tips. Maybe it's like a race with identical cars. Right. Well, that's what it is. Everybody has the same resources. It's not like everybody has the same resources to a certain extent. AI is going to help you learn more faster. It's going to help you produce more faster. It's going to help you understand faster. It's on the trader to actually use the resources correctly. Of course, it's kind of like a tool, and everybody has access to the tool, but the tool's still going to make it easier on everybody, is what it is, I think we'll have a mediocre season, Robert. I don't think we're going to have a good season. It's all good, though, bro. But, yeah, I think we're going to have a mediocre season. I just don't think it's going to be that. I don't think. Yeah, for sure. Again, I think the real value of AI, you can use AI for data lookup. right? But you can use just regular APIs for data lookup and other tools, right? I don't think that's necessarily where the argument is for AI. I think the argument is for production. So when you produce things versus look things up using AI, you can look things up with AI, it's great, but producing things using AI is much more valuable and consolidates the amount of time you need into a shorter time frame. And I think that's important. I think that's where the use case really is there for AI, is in terms of producing things, like production, like creating things. You know, you can get it to write stuff very quickly. You can get it to summarize things very quickly. You can get it to edit photos very quickly. You can get it to be its own photographer editor. You can get it to do all these different things. Like production is, and with that in mind, like with what I just said, the areas in which AI is going to have the biggest influence over jobs is going to be production jobs, right? So photography, writing, those are the areas of business which I would be very nervous if I was a photographer right now. I would be very not necessarily like a photographer, but like you always need to take pictures, but you're going to have less work certainly moving forward if you're in photography, especially of like real estate photography. Like you still need somebody to take pictures, but AI can do it much faster and easier in terms of editing those pictures and creating those pictures. Definitely digital design work is going to be almost certainly replaced by AI within the next 10 or 15 years. Like digital design work, like Photoshop editing, stuff like that is you know, those are the markets that they're really going to be hit by AI. And the other one is writing. Like both fiction and nonfiction writing are going to take a big hit from AI, because AI can basically do it where you don't need to spend. I'm an okay writer, believe it or not. Like I can write well. I just hate writing. I just don't like it. I don't like being forced to do it. I certainly don't like doing it as a job. But looking at it objectively, AI is going to replace a lot of the work that writers do. I think the biggest area is going to be nonfiction specifically, because nonfiction writers, you know, you need less creativity and skills to write nonfiction. Fiction writers will probably be okay, but nonfiction especially, those writers are going to struggle because AI is essentially going to replace all of that. Now, you're always going to need creative works, and you're always going to need nonfiction writers to a certain extent as well. I think it's just going to be done differently. Make my coffee in the morning. That's my baby puppy. Yeah. All right, so NASDAQ breaking down a little bit. NVIDIA still moving up, which is interesting. AMC still right around that range it was before. Again, I'm just kind of sitting tight here waiting for some good moves to happen. A little quiet right now. We got 15 minutes until the open, and then we got ISM manufacturing data. All right, guys, the NASDAQ still up to about 15.5K. Jim Cramer admits he made a, quote, big mistake with Disney stock. So a 241 billion asset manager founder Rick Elderman predicts Bitcoin reaching 150K by 2025. Very choppy open though, guys. We still got like 15 minutes. A very choppy morning so far. Also, give me a follow on those pages above. You can see the banner list at the top. Give your boy a follow at those pages here. We appreciate the love and support. Apparently, BitBoy.
Oh, this is fucking bullshit. Oh, hey, man, what's up?
Sorry. I used AI to delete a cup from a kitchen scene entirely, leaving nothing but the shadow left, generated things that could be behind the cup. Then I put my own cup in. Yeah, I mean, that's where it's really going to, again, you're going to be able to produce faster. What weather? My weather over here is pretty sunny out here in Texas. Yeah, AI, the hands are always kind of sketch. Again, a little flag pattern here. What kind of flag do y'all think it is? I mean, what Pawn's talking about right here is this flag. You know, the question is this a bear or bull flag? I don't know. What do you guys think? Bear or bull flag team? AI, envision your favorite movie, then you put some VR goggles and you're rendered into the movie. As soon as you interact, it changes the story, set it for percent of deviation, then you understand what we'll be able to do very soon. Yeah, I mean, again, it's going to get crazy over the next couple of years for sure. It's just going to get crazy, man. AI is going to take over. And again, that's why I've tried to tell people, like, I've been saying this for like a year now, and I've had a lot of people that just disagree. Like, a lot of people are scared of it, right? So like they say it's not big and that, oh, it's just not that big. But like you can kind of see the influence AI has had. Like before NVIDIA made this big run, I was telling people here, like people arguing with me here, how big AI was going to be. I was telling them, I was like, look, AI is game changing for production. It was absolutely going to change technology. And again, a lot of people argued against it. A lot of people said, oh, it's a buzzword. AI is a buzzword. It's been around for years. It's not that cool. It's not that great. It's just a gimmick. It's not going to be around. And then a year later, NVIDIA has made crazy big percentages. AI specifically has changed the world already. And a lot of people are tuning into the fact of what AI can ultimately do, why AI will be big, you know? And so again, don't underestimate it. AI has the potential to change the world, and it already is. And so don't slack on it. Again, these AI stocks can have exponential growth as well. I think NVIDIA is already up a lot. So short term, I'm not sure what it's going to do. But I think long term, these AI stocks, if they focus their businesses purely on AI and that stuff, it's going to be exponential in terms of growth for both the stocks and the sector itself. But maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Oh, for sure. I'm not saying we shouldn't be scared of it. There's obviously like, again, I mean, if you ever watch science fiction, of course, like you understand. Yeah, if you watch science fiction, man, you know, things can be used for good and bad. Like things can be used for good and bad. I'm not saying it's only going to be used for good. I'm really not saying that. What I am saying is that it's going to change the world in good and bad ways, and I think that's obvious. Yeah, rest in peace to Steve Harwell. He was always a good singer, man. I always liked his music. Yeah, man. Again, one of the things that like makes me not want to be friends with people, right? Like I've had a lot of people that reach out and want to be my friends. One of the things that make me not want to be friends with them is if they're heavy drinkers, right? Like I just don't want to be that, man. You know, like I don't know how they got started or what it is, but like drinking can just destroy your life. It can destroy your life, you know. Like being addicted to something in which you have to consistently be inebriated. Like, and if you don't get inebriated, you get sick, right? With withdrawal symptoms from it. It's just a terrible thing. It looks horrible. And again, a lot of times drinking also makes you make bad decisions. Like I've had people that have wanted to be friends with me, but I see them just kind of drink every night. Like they're drinking. And I don't really want to be friends with them. It's just they make bad decisions. Like they just don't make good decisions, and they're not really aware. Drinking also kind of cuts down on your judgment, and so you make bad decisions, man. It's just not really something that I don't feel like babysitting somebody, you know. And that's really what it is. And so rest in peace to Steve, man. He was a good dude. Great music. Well, what smokers? I mean, I'm not a cigarette smoker either, you know. There's a difference between that and drinking, though. Drinking will make you inebriated to make bad decisions. You know, even if we're talking about the other stuff you smoke, generally the decision-making ability is still going to be better for those people than drinking, you know. And again, I'm not shooting shots at anybody. Like, listen, I can't judge, you know. I've lived a crazy life where I've definitely done some crazy stuff and made some mistakes, and it's all good. Like, again, I'm not judging. I'm just talking about in terms of my standards of friendship, right? I don't want to be friends with somebody that's drinking every day. You know, so if you got to drink every night, I'm not your friend. I don't want to be your friend, you know. Yeah. Yeah, tailgating Chris for sure. LSU, you know. Nobody remind me of that game. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Pawn. That's rough, dude. Yeah, and I think people kind of get mad at the messenger when I say stuff like this. Again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm really not. Like, I can't. I promise I'm not in a position to judge anybody for their life decisions. Just my own standard of friendship. I just don't want to be friends with somebody drinking every day. It's just not something that I'm going to enjoy being around them. I'm just not going to enjoy being around them. I'm not going to relate to them. It's going to be, you know, I want to grow and do business. And I don't know if you can like that, you know. And I'm not talking about just kind of a beer at night or whatever. Do your thing. I'm not mad at that. But I know some people where it's like everywhere they go, they got to drink. And like, I'm just not that, you know. Yeah, I mean, LSU, I don't know, man. I'm not impressed with the QB. All right, guys. Hey, we got 7 minutes. 7 minutes. We got about 400 people here. AMC buy the dip. I don't know. You guys think you should buy the dip right now in AMC? I'm not sold on it. I mean, it's back up to 12s. You know, this dilution is not good, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world for AMC. AMC 40 million to the float is not the worst. Like, it's not like a huge offering. I'll put it this way. Like, adding 40 mil to the float is not a crazy big offering. I mean, it's not small necessarily, but like when you look at AMC's float, AMC's already got what, 500 million shares in the float or something like that. So I mean, it's not like the float is small and this is like doubling the float or anything like that. When you look at AMC, AMC's float right now, I'm showing 100. Oh man, wait, I thought AMC had a float of 500 million. I guess after the conversion, they lowered the float. So I guess this is like a big bump in the float now. I'm showing 150 million. So if that's the case, then that's almost a third of the float. That is a much larger sack of dilution than originally thought. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I think it depends, Chris. I think it really depends. Like, it depends on what you're doing. It's a timing thing, you know, it's a time thing. It's a convenience. A lot of stuff in life we pay for is convenience. Depends on who you're with. If you're with your friends, fine. If you're on like a date, that's different, you know. Yeah, for sure. Adding 40 million to the float 3 weeks after doing a 1-to-10 split has to be causing some people to be upset. I understand for sure. It's not a good move. If I'm AMZ traders, I'm mad right now. All right, NVIDIA falling back down a little bit. You can see the NASDAQ fall back down some too. We got 3 minutes here. Again, in 15 minutes, we do have Services PMI and we do have Non-Manufacturing PMI in a couple hours. Oh, for sure. I get you completely, Chris. I get it. Like I said, for me, it depends on what it is. Like if I'm on a date with a lady, you know, then I'm just going to buy whatever and try to enjoy the experience. If it's just me with some friends or whatever, maybe I can be a little bit cheaper, you know, but it depends. Depends on the situation. All right, guys. Hey, we got 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. NVIDIA at 44s. Everybody has that one thing they spend too much money on. Yeah. I don't really have a thing I spend too much money on. I'm pretty cheap as a person. Again, my dad was cheap too. I think it's good. You know, when my dad raised me, I wasn't given everything I want for sure. And I try to do the same with my kids, although my kids are certainly given much more stuff than I was given as a kid. And I think that makes you value money. And I think one thing you have to condition your kids to do is value money. If you give them everything they ever ask for, they're going to have no value of money, and they're just going to think money rains from the sky, and they're not going to understand true work. So that's the big thing for me. Is just my dad did the same thing to me, and now as an adult, I just don't like spending money. You know, I go to the grocery store with Carol, and Carol's just throwing stuff in the cart. And like, I've got plenty of money to buy groceries, but like, even if I have, $1 billion, I still get stressed out. NVIDIA bouncing back up, testing the VWAP at 484s, 45s. Hey, what's up, Kenny? Yeah, I don't know what I spend money on, man. I really don't spend that much money on anything, you know. Right, but I think you gotta weigh. All right, guys, we got 45 minutes. Buffett says he never spends money on anything unless it pays him back. I understand that for sure, but I also think that you gotta enjoy life. You know, you can't just save until you're 90 years old, you know, because at 90, what does it matter? You know, I think you got to enjoy life. You got to pay for experiences and enjoy life with your family, you know, because without that, life's meaningless. You know, if you don't have a family, at least with friends, like pay for experiences, enjoy life. You know, don't save until you're old and then not have any energy to enjoy it. You know what I mean? There's a balance of it, I think, that you have to do. All right, guys, 5 seconds until the market opens. All right, guys. NASDAQ bounced it up a little bit. NVIDIA rejecting at the volume weighted average price. We're going to watch Tesla as well. Tesla at 254s, 255s. NVIDIA just broke over, testing the previous closing price. You can see this light blue line right here is the previous close for NVIDIA.
Yeah, designer clothes are silly, I think, to waste money on. But again, I'm not anybody to judge. All right, NVIDIA just rejected right at that previous closing price. Everything looks kind of weak now. AMC dipping down to 1150s also. Whole portfolio is red basically today, the whole thing. Big dip. I'm going to short one contract of this just because it's such a whoa. Somehow we are red here. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. So we just made about 45 bucks there. Pretty small gains, but just very volatile open here where we've gone up big, down big, NVIDIA right back up. I'm definitely going to give some time to let this play out first. I think the volatility here is big. We also have Services PMI data dropping in about 15 minutes or so. So yeah, just be smart today, guys. Very big volatility. So yeah, we just made about 55 bucks from that. All right, we're short again here. Whew. I'm going to cover this. So yeah, we just lost a little bit. We're only down about 100 bucks. But yeah, again, I lack of discipline there on me. I got to take my hands off and just wait. Big volatility. I don't mind this rebound that we're getting right now. But I don't want to get stuck chasing a direction right now 2 minutes after the open. So we're going to wait. Again, we do have Services PMI data dropping very soon. All right, NVIDIA fighting its way back up. AMC kind of climbing back up also here. Oh, yeah, it's definitely easy when you're top 3 of everything ever in the world, for sure. All right, very choppy day, guys. Be careful. We're middle range. It looks weak. It looks like we're going to break down here, but again, you never know for sure. Yeah, there's the breakdown. There's NVIDIA dumping down. AMC even rejecting a little bit here too. So Services PMI is at 945, I believe. Yeah, so Services PMI. Okay, so I think it is at 10 actually. Yeah, you're right. All right, so we did get that breakdown. Like I said, we might. I'm just letting things play out here. I'm not going to take any big risks yet. So contracts, Smokies, there's 2 different forms of contracts in markets. There's futures contracts, but futures contracts trade similar to stocks where I can buy market, buy bid, sell the ask. Each contract, depending on what the underlying symbol is going to have a different price per tick movement, right? So like the NASDAQ moves, I believe, $5 per tick, but it has much more volatility relative to like the S&P 500 E-mini, which moves $10 per tick. Or $12.50, actually $12.50 per tick is what the S&P E-mini one moves. So everyone moves differently, but that compared to like options bundle, which is multiplied times 100, is a different thing completely. Options are much different than futures. right, so weak action originally at the opening bell, although NVIDIA is starting to consolidate here. All right, still getting breakdowns. All right, NASDAQ started to pop a little bit. We do have regular services. It's not ISM services at 9:45 in about 7 or 8 minutes. So we do have regular services, but again, it's not ISM data. The big one is at 10 a.m. in 23 minutes. NVIDIA chopping, again, kind of a flat day right now. It's a very choppy, kind of a neutral looking day. Again, so Services PMI data is expected to show at 52.5. And Services PMI is at 51. All right, we're testing lows on the E-mini. NASDAQ starting to dip down. Watching NVIDIA too. NVIDIA might have an influence. I'm also watching Tesla also here. Yeah, Tesla fall down heavy. NVIDIA starting to dip. We are in the regular E-mini, although we're up a small amount here, 75 bucks. I'm going to go in and take half off there, lock it in. We're pretty much green on the day now. But we got one contract left. I want to see if this breakdown continues, so we're just going to stay in this. Hawaii Electric. Yeah, that one's been interesting. NVIDIA starting to break down under lows. Look at NVIDIA crack this low level here. All right, so NVIDIA breaking down to 481.50s here, 481.50s. Again, we're still in this trade. I guess I'll show you it because we can. Again, you can kind of see we're up $50 here on this one. I want to give it time to break down. We also got the signal on Chart Prime that we're using here. NVIDIA starting to pop back up a little bit here. We're still flat on this one. We got 5 minutes here, so I'll probably cut this one pretty tight and then wait for the data to release to get something else here. So we're out basically slightly green on that trade, slightly green. Still down less than $100 on the day and just kind of waiting for this data to drop in 5 minutes. I'm using Quant Tower. Little pop back. What else we got, team? Again, we got 3 minutes before we get the regular service PMI. It's not the ISM data, I don't think, but it's just regular services PMI for August. This one's a much smaller report. It's released by Market Economics instead of the ISM. To put it into perspective, ISM data is the Institute of Supply Management relative to this one, which is just which is much bigger than market one. Again, expectations for this upcoming one in about 3 minutes is 51, while the ISM is expecting 52.5. If you don't understand this and you don't know what this means here, let me look and get you a good summary of what this means. So again, if you don't understand this, I mean, there's different types of purchasing managers index, right? So again, I'm pulling it up now, but I'll just explain my own definition of it. There's different types of services, or there's different types of purchasing managers index numbers, right? PMI numbers. Generally, it stands for strength or weakness in specific sectors. Manufacturing is the big one that people use, like ISM manufacturing PMI data, whether manufacturing is strong or weak, and that can have nuance of the influence the nuance of the market, in which if manufacturing growth is there, that could cause fears for inflation, and vice versa. If it's lower, it could be better for inflation, and so it's a little bit nuanced there regarding what the market and the public actually specifically want with this type of stuff. Again, for services PMI, it's the same as regular PMI, which 50 indicates neutral, no change from the previous month. Above 50 signals an improvement in the services sector. Below 50 indicates deterioration in the services sector. For this upcoming one that's in about a minute, expectations are 51. It drops in 60 seconds. Expectations are 51, so a slight improvement, almost neutral. The ISM services one is 52.5. Right, 52.5 is what they're showing as the expectation. And again, the ISM is the Institute of Supply Management Services PMI. Again, above 50 indicates sector is growing and expanding. Below 50 indicates it's contracting, and at 50 indicates neutral. And again, this data report is pretty soon. All right, so this next one drops in about 30 seconds, guys. 30 seconds. So be ready. We're going to cover this quickly, as we always do if we can. So again, hit that subscribe button. We're also going to throw this in sub-only mode, which we haven't for the last few days. So again, we're going to throw this in sub-only mode. So hit the subscribe button. Here's the release in 10 seconds right now. Also, make sure you hit the live button next to the play button to make sure you're fully caught up on stream. We appreciate it. And here we go. Here's the first release right now. Let's see what it does to the market. Market's neutral heading into this. All right, there we go. All right, so we are out. We came in at 50.5, a little bit less growth in services than expected. Again, 50.5, 50.5 versus 51 expected. And again, we cover this quickly here, guys. We cover this quickly. So 50.5 versus 51 is what services showed. Again, subscribe. We cover the data quickly each time it's released. And so again, 50.5 is what we showed versus 51 expected. So slight slightly less growth than ultimately expected here for Services PMI. Now, the big one, the ISM, the Institute of Supply Management one, drops at 10 a.m. That's in about 15 minutes, 14 and a half minutes to be exact. And so be ready. But yeah, about 15 is what we're looking at right now, guys. About 15 minutes until that data drops. Anything good, but yeah. E-mini pulling back a little bit. It does kind of look like a cup and handle forming, but again, we do have the Services PMI data dropping in 15 minutes, and so that might cause some choppiness in markets today. All right, Tesla cracking lows, NVIDIA breaking down right around lows as well. Yeah, what's up, Shepard? The double D song is what I'm going to call it. All right, guys, 13 minutes. 13 minutes before we got ISM non-manufacturing PMI data. Let's see if we grow here, guys. 13 minutes. Get everybody chat. Yeah, the last one's at 10 a.m. Everybody hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Announce yourself. Show us that you're subscribed because we are in sub-only mode. Top three. Hey, always 50-50. Yeah, a lot of times it is. I say it every time. I actually think John is top data announcer online, so I can say it. I don't get paid. I subscribe. Yeah, I mean, again, like a lot of people that for whatever reason want to hate on my channel, right? Maybe it's because I was right about the market not crashing and they told all their subscribers the market was going to crash. Maybe it's because for whatever reason they dislike me because I'm so handsome. Regardless of why they dislike me, one of the things they always try to do is they try to make me like a day trading guru, right? But it's really hard to get me with that because it's like, dude, I'm not an expert. I don't even claim to be profitable. I don't sell a course, don't charge for content, cover mostly economic data. Like the real reason people watch my channel is because we cover the economic data quickly. And so you could pay $30K a year for Bloomberg Terminal, or you could sub to beginner trading and get the economic data very quickly, like very quickly. Like we generally cover this data as long as you're staying up to like, as long as you're not delayed on stream, we cover the data usually within 5 seconds, usually faster. And so that's really why people watch the stream. And so if you want like a one-stop shop that gives you economic data quickly, and again, other people will say they get it to you, but like y'all know we get it to you quick. They can say what they want, but like And no, I won't give you my sources. But again, subscribe if you haven't yet. We appreciate the love and support. That's what we really do here. And I think it makes it really hard for like haters to critique, because it's like, dude, we give away everything for free. We don't charge for a course. We don't even claim to be a good trader. And we mostly just cover broad economic data. You know, like I day trade and I love day trading, but my better trades are probably swing trades and investments versus day trading. And like, that's okay. I'm not trying to be a day trading guru. I think there's enough day trading gurus out there slanging courses on publicly available content. And I love day trading. You know, Top Step's my biggest sponsor, and they're a day trading like program. But again, they're inherently useful for traders. Again, it just makes it useful. And so that's what I love about my channel is like people can get mad. They can say I suck at trading. They can say whatever I want, but like y'all know, like it doesn't matter because we're not claiming to be good at anything. I'd rather not have that pressure, because pressure makes you fake things, right? Like if I tell everybody I'm such a great day trader and I sell them a course, I got to live up to that expectation. When I lose, you know, you just tend to mislead people a lot more, where I would rather just say, hey, I'm not claiming to be good at anything, you know. All right, guys. Hey, we got 9 minutes here. 9 minutes. Hey, thank you, Jane. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. No, it's definitely been 50-50 before. All right, guys. Hey, 9 minutes here. We'll see if we get something good today. All right, look at NVIDIA starting to bounce back. It's kind of dragging the rest of the market back up with us. Hey, thank you, Abdul, my guy. Thank you, man. I like the logic, Smokey, so I do like the logic. I don't know. I don't trust IBM. I really don't. I don't trust IBM. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't know enough about IBM's business to invest in it, but maybe that's just an excuse. I don't know. Again, I really don't know. Yeah, we'll try to get some more emojis coming soon. NVIDIA bouncing back. Again, the E-mini sideways. AMC still looking pretty weak here, though. If we look at, like, Tesla here. Again, there's Tesla. Again, guys, we got Services PMI data in about 8 minutes. About 8 minutes. Appreciate all the subscribes today, guys. I see you guys. Thank you so much. Again, hit that subscribe button. It takes one time. It might feel good. Do it now. Try it one time. NVIDIA bouncing back. Still over 480s. Still trying to make that other push here. All right, guys, here we go. 6 minutes until we get the ISM Services PMI, ISM. Again, it's the Institute of Supply Management Services PMI data. It's the biggest release we have today aside from earnings. And stick around, hit the subscribe button. We'll see if we come in good or bad for this. What if Michael Burry gets wrecked? I mean, he's got enough money to be all right. I don't know. What if? Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I hope he's wrong about his short predictions. I don't necessarily hope he gets wrecked. He seems like a good dude that's just trying to be real with people. I think he's just got too much bias. All right, so we're still pretty choppy. All right, guys, we got less than 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Tesla cracking lows again, giving back all the gains it made plus more. All the way down at 248s, 248.20s right now for Tesla. Still looking weak. All right, so the market is mostly choppy sideways here ahead of this. Yeah, I got to get some more work done with tattoos as well. Like, I still got a couple, like I've got these 2 tattoos on my arm. Like, I've got this one and this one on the top. I'd like to get something in which it combines these 2 together. Maybe get like a quarter sleeve right here is what I want to get. I got the same thing on my other arm, but like, that's kind of what I'm thinking. One of my jujitsu training buddies is like a tattoo artist. And so I might get him to do it because when I go to jujitsu, he's kind of a training buddy, a rolling buddy, but might get him to do it. But I got to get that done sometime soon. Yeah, for sure, Pawn. Yeah, honestly, we would have stopped by, but bro, that drive is just so long, dude. That drive to Michigan is just exhausting, man. A 2-day trip with 2 kids is just not fun, man. All right, market's starting to bounce back ahead of this again. We got about 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes. Good or bad data, guys? Good or bad data? Good or bad Services PMI data release, guys? Let me know. It drops at 10 a.m. Expectations are, again, for Services PMI, expectations are 52.5. 52.5 expectation here. Again, 10 a.m., 52.5 is what the expected number is here. Flat, bad for the dollar. I would have a suit if I started getting, yeah, flat, maybe. Again, Tesla and nvda are both down pretty big since the opening bell today. Those are the ones that are really hurting this morning. AMC as well. AMC is doing pretty rough. Google's still doing pretty good. I'm in Google. Gold's doing all right. Roblox is doing okay. Walmart's doing well. Again, oil, Exxon doing well too. All right, guys, we got about a minute left, about a minute and 20 seconds left. All right, guys, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. This report's not huge, but it's not small either. It's somewhere in between. It's not like a crazy, it's not like CPI or PPI or anything like that. I would compare this to like a little bit less hype than jobless claims. So like a very small influence generally, but sometimes it can be big, and it does vary month to month for Services PMI data. All right, guys, 20 seconds, 20 seconds. All right, here we go. All right, here's the release. And And there we go. All right, so ISM non-manu 54.5, higher than expected here, guys. So we came in higher than expected at 54.5 for non-manufacturing or services PMI. 54.5 versus 52.5 expected. So about 2 points higher than expected. At 54.5 versus 52.5. And I told you guys I cover this quickly. Okay, I cover it quick. If you haven't seen that already, look at the influence of the market. The S&P 500 dumping down, the Dow dumping down here. Everything dropping quickly today, guys. So a lot of stuff's dropping fast on the day. NVIDIA dropping down here. A lot of stuff's falling down on the Services PMI report. Again, 54.5 versus 52.5 expected. We'll put it up on screen. And again, subscribe, team. I told you we cover this quickly. All right, we cover it fast. I don't think anybody else covers it as fast as we do. So again, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. They can claim they do because they're, whatever, but we cover it quickly. 52.5. Again, it signals more manufacturing and services, or more services growth, right? So it signals economic growth is what this signals. And the market apparently doesn't like this right now. My guess is because of inflation fears. And so it signals economic growth. Again, my guess is because of inflation fears, the market is now reacting negatively to this data as opposed to the upside, which you might think from economic growth, right? So this is the service sector growing more than expected month to month, and the market reacting negatively to that, again, because of most likely inflation fears is most likely why this is going on. We also had the Bank of Canada pause or skip coming in as expected with their 0 rate hike this cycle for the Bank of Canada. But again, the market's down some. It's not a huge drop, but the E-mini did dip a little bit. The market's already red today, so it's a pretty red day in the market regardless of this data. But again, the data came out, it is pretty red. It came in at 54.5 versus 52.5 expected. So it came in higher than expected. That's causing negative reactions in markets, but the market was already kind of red prior to this. So, but again, if you want to day trade these economic releases here and you want to day trade the market, right? The futures market, you can day trade the NASDAQ. You can day trade the S&P. You can day trade the Dow and their own futures contracts. There's no PDT rule to do it. You can day trade with less than 25K in futures. There's no PDT rule. And the easiest way to gain exposure to that market if you don't have that much money or equity is a funded account program like TopStep. TopStep is the most legit one in the world, in my opinion, for futures. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the target while following their rules, they fund you between 50 to 150K with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first 10K as well. And again, they're the most legit one in the world. They pay out millions every year in actual withdrawals. They fund thousands a year. I think most traders are going to lose these challenges because most day traders lose regardless of where they go, whether it's TopStep or not. Most day traders lose money. It's so much cheaper to learn how to trade and fail on TopStep than it is to put the money up yourself and fail with real money. And if you're good enough, you still get 90% split. You still get your first 10K in profit and all that good stuff. There's free funding coaches. Just taking the challenge builds your skill. And again, just really useful. If you want to check it out, here is the link. The other sponsor of mine today is Chart Prime trading view indicator service. You can use it in stocks, crypto, forex, futures. I've been using this a ton lately. You can kind of see why I've been using them. So again, looking at the Dow here, right? So here's Chart Prime, the trading view indicator service. Let me put this one down for a second. This is an hourly chart. Look at how powerful this can be, okay? Like, look at how powerful this can be. So if you look at what the reaction is, each candlestick represents an hour. Look at the sell signal here, nice drops, and it's within the triangle pattern here. Buy signal here, you could argue this one was wrong. Sell signal here, we got a nice little drop. Buy signal here, you got a nice little bounce. Sell signal here, you got a nice little drop. And again, that's an hourly chart. That one's called the Market Oracle Pro. And again, you can zoom out and just look at the accuracy. Even if those weren't the most accurate, like you can kind of see, go back in time and back test it. Look at the buy signal here, bounce. Sell signal here, drop. Buy signal here, bounce. Sell signal here, drop. Buy signal here, bounce. Sell signal, drop. Sell signal, drop. All that good stuff. Buy signal, bounce. And so again, I can't fake what I'm showing you. I also can't guarantee you're going to make money, but genuinely useful. Again, this other one is called the Market Oracle Regular, right? So the regular Market Oracle, this is on a 5-minute chart. You can kind of see how powerful this is as well. Again, the reversal signals, nice drop. This one was wrong, but look at the strong sell signal here, buy signal here, bounce. My favorite way to use it is when multiple indicators show up around the same time. So when we have like a reversal signal and a reversal down signal and an engulfing signal around the same point, that usually gives you like really nice price action. And they've done a lot of stuff to update their software where you get like oscillators that are really nice. This is really just a small piece of what they offer. And you can use it in stocks, crypto, forex, futures. They got smart money concepts. Their Prime Oscillator Pro has just been updated. You can look at chart patterns, triangles, flag patterns, and it's like $40 a month. So it's very cheap. And again, check it out for yourself. You know, very useful. Again, $40 a month. Again, they are a sponsor of mine, and so I'm certainly biased because they pay me money. But again, I think they're genuinely useful. If you want to check it out, here's the link. I'm going to go ahead and see you guys later. We will be back later on today. We got C3 AI earnings later on this afternoon. So C3 AI earnings later on this afternoon. Y'all be safe. Y'all be good. And yeah, I'll see you guys a little bit later. Again, AI should influence the market. Maybe C3 AI saves the market today because NVIDIA is all the way down to under 470s right now. If you look at NVIDIA here, we are under 470s. Big dip. Under 470s in NVIDIA. Tesla has had a really red day also. Tesla dropping all the way down to 246. So pretty big dips in tech today, guys. So y'all be safe in this market. Again, we'll see if C3 can save the market later on this afternoon. And we will stream the entire thing here live. And so if you haven't already, subscribe. Again, we cover all this stuff pretty quickly live on stream every weekday right here. And so again, subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for the love and support, and we will be back later on today. I'll see you guys later.